Our next standard is EE4A, which is I can solve 1- and 2-step equations. Remember that solving equations is basically the same thing as solving a mystery, solving a logic puzzle. Remember that the variable in an equation represents an unknown. It does represent something, we just don't know what it is. So to figure it out, the mystery, we can work backwards from what the equation does to the variable to figure out what it represents. For example, given the equation 2n plus 7 equals 15, we can think of a story to represent the statement, like 7 more than double a number is 15. All that translating expressions that we practiced earlier. Remember that the story tells us what happens to that unknown, that variable, what happened to n. Now we're going to write what happens to the variable, but we're going to do it using order of operations. So if you look at order of operations, and I'll write those here, PEM, DUS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. There's no parentheses in the problem. There's no exponents. There is multiplication. So what do we do first? We multiply the unknown, n, times 2, and then we add 7, as you can see by the arrow here, to get our answer, which is, we know, 15. Then we can write the inverse operations in reverse order, so following the arrows. So starting at the end of the problem at 15, going this way, I'm going to, instead of adding 7, I'm going to subtract 7 from 15. When you subtract 15 minus 7, you get 8. And then we undo, or the inverse operation of multiplying by 2 is to divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So n equals 4. And that's our answer, and you just solved an equation. Let's go a little simpler now. X plus 19 equals 21. When you add 19, if you look at the diagram, to an unknown number, the result is, so you have a variable x, and now we're going to add 19 like it does in the problem, order of operations. We're going to get 21. Now, how do we do the inverse? Go backwards. Well, we look at it says adding 19, so down here I'm going to subtract 19. When you do 21 minus 19, you get 2. So x equals 2. That's our answer. Another equation solved. The next part is we can always check our answer to make sure we're 100% right. So I can take now the fact that x equals 2 and plug it back into the equation of x plus 19 equals 21. So if I plug it in, I plug in the 2 for the x plus 19, 19, 20, 21. Does 21 equal the 21 I was supposed to get? Yep. Yay. In our next one, it says f divided by 3 equals 11. Or in other words, 1/3 of a number is 11. So we start out with the variable f, right here. We say we're going to divide by 3, and it will give us 11. Now we work backwards. Instead of dividing by 3, I'm going to multiply by 3. 11 times 3 is 33, so f equals 33. Now that I know that, I can check my answer. If I know that f equals 33, I can plug it into the f divided by 3 equals 11 and see if I'm right. So instead of f, I'm going to write 33 divided by 3. That gives me 11. Does that equal the 11 I was supposed to? And it does. Again, I am happy. In this example, we have 5x minus 19 equals 26. If I was to write a story, it might say 19 less than 5 times the number is 26. Remember, when we make the diagram, we're following order of operations. So what do I do first? I start with that variable of x, and I'm going to multiply 5. And then I'm going to subtract 19, and I will get 26. Now let's work backwards. Instead of subtracting 19, I'm going to add 19. When you add 26 plus 19, you get 45. Now, instead of multiplying by 5, I'm going to divide by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So x equals 9. Again, I can check my answer over here. If I know that x equals 9, I can plug it into 5x minus 19 equals 26. So I do 5 times the 9 minus 19. 5 times 9 is 45. Minus 19 gives me 26, which equals the 26 I was supposed to get. So yay, another one done. Now here's a more tricky one to finish it off. Remember, think about what actually happens to the variable under order of operations. That's the key. Can you follow order of operations? So, what happens to h first? You might want to pause, try this, and then hit play to see what happens. So what happens to h first is we're going to subtract 6. And then we're going to multiply 2. And then we're going to add 1 to get 9. If we were following order of operations, you would do what's in parentheses first. So you would do whatever h is and minus 6. Then you would multiply it by 2, and then you would add 1. Now let's work backwards. Instead of adding 1, I'm going to subtract 1, and I will get 8. Instead of multiplying by 2, I'm going to divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Instead of subtracting 6, I'm going to add 6. And 6 plus 4 is 10. So h equals 10. Again, I can plug this in to see if it'll work. If I plug in the 10 for h, and we do what's inside parentheses first, so it'll look like this. 10 minus 6 plus 1. So again, we would do what's in parentheses first. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then I would multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And these match. So check. I did it correct. And you'll know 100% of the time that you are right. You should never fail anything because you should always be able to check your answers. Now, good luck.